Quinn, thank you. The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Tournament rolls on with our second of 8 games this weekend as we welcome you to rainy Philadelphia, where the 3 seed in this tournament, the Penn Quakers, host the Richmond Spiders out of the SoCon. We started with 16 in an Ivy League heavy field. You just saw Princeton take down Boston University, and the winner of this one here gets the Rutgers-Harvard winner next weekend in the quarterfinals. With that, we say hello and thanks for joining us with the great Jules Henningberg. Mike Monaco with you. Best time of the year. Here we go. And you're going to see a lot of Ivy League teams over the course of the next couple of days. But Jules, the best of them all, the highest ranked team of them all is Penn, and they've got the best player in the conference, one of the best players in the country in Sam Hanley.
Yeah, Sam Hanley sitting at 6'5", 230 pounds. He's really a combination of a Miles Jones and a Paul Rabel. For my money, he's one of the best players in terms of pedigree that I've seen in the sport in a long time. I really think his ceiling's high. He can shoot it on the run. He can shoot step downs. He's a playmaker. He's got high IQ. He's got awareness. You see right there, making feeds. He's got the whole package. If the Penn makes a run in the tournament, don't be shocked if he wins a Tewaaraton.
And on the flip side of things for Richmond, Ryan Lynchbury is their star, fifth-year senior who said he came back because there was unfinished business, and for this program, that means the first ever NCAA tournament win.
Yeah, Lynchbury, he's a Canadian. He's a feeder. He's righty, but he's also balanced. He's sitting at almost 40 and 40, 39 and 39 between his goals and his assists. He was the second overall pick in the NLL draft. Just shows how great of a player he really is. He's the guy that's going to really drive their offense today.
For a program that is in its 9th season, and their head coach, Dan Shamati, has already taken them now to 4 NCAA tournaments. They go up against Mike Murphy's team in his 13th season here in Philadelphia, the Ivy League tournament champions in Rhode Island over the weekend. All right, so just about set to get started. As we said, in rainy Philadelphia, it was pouring about an hour ago. Still raining here at Penn Park because they're not playing at Franklin Field with graduation ceremonies over the course of the next couple of days. We are about as close to the action as humanly possible as well. And Jules, I know you're fired up, ready to go.
Man, it does not get much better than that being at field level right now. First round of the NCAA tournament. Let's go.
Congratulations to Princeton. Already a winner. You just saw them take down Boston University. And we are ready for action. It's Richmond and Penn here in our second of 8 games. Jared Chenoy for Richmond, and on the Penn side, Jamie Zusai battling. Chenoy tries to levy a hit on Zusai, and Richmond's got the first possession. This Richmond team 11-4. They went 4-1 in a very good SoCon, as is always the case. And then SoCon tournament champions. They beat High Point by 1. They beat Jacksonville by 1 to win it. And in neither of those games was there ever more than a 2-goal lead for either team.
Yeah, and let's see Richmond start to settle in here a little bit. We talked to Coach. Some things that they want to do, they really want to embrace things that don't show up in the box score. The off-ball lead, the 2-man game. They want to be buttoned up with that. That's how they really want to start to get involved in this early on.
Shot didn't get through from Dalton Young, their second leading scorer. And then Patrick Birkinshaw makes a stop. And Penn has its first possession.
There's Birkinshaw right away. Coach said he's potentially the most talented goalie they've ever had at Penn. You saw it right there. Get the game started.
Yeah, he was lights out in the Ivy League tournament. 30-plus saves combined over the course of those 2 games for Penn to be the Ivy League tournament champions. And, of course, they just got into the 4-team tournament there because of tiebreakers. And as we said, the highest ranked and highest seeded of the 6 Ivy League teams here in the NCAA tournament. They are midfield driven, and this is 26 in the white, the guy we spotlighted in Sam Hanley.
Yeah, the midfield. Coach said it to us. Everything runs through Sam Hanley, and here it goes right now.
Coming right at Zach Vigu, the redshirt freshman, in between the posts for Richmond. Dylan Gergar. Feed was tough to handle there for the freshman Ben Smith. Hanley trying to secure the ground ball. And scooped up by Ray Barron in Richmond. The Spiders run. Griffin Kaloji feeds off to Lynchbury. Off a skip, and the shot whistled wide there by Ryan Dunn.
It's a great look by number 9, Ryan Lynchbury. I would have liked to see him pass down to that low base. Just on that fast break, it's simple. Catch it as a point man, look down to the low base.
There's Birkinshaw we mentioned. senior who, of course, started his career at Virginia. Honorable mention, all Ivy League this year. The 36 saves in those 2 games in Providence. Here's Dalton Young. Bounce shot, save Birkinshaw. Great denial there on Mitch Pfeiffer.
DJ Farrar showing his speed in the middle of the field. Number 1 in white.
He is jet quick. Now this Penn team has been banged up. They're hopeful that James Shipley, one of the midfielders, will be good to go. They don't have their freshman attackman, Tynan Walsh, who got injured in the Ivy League championship game on Sunday. He's got a knee injury, unfortunately, and they don't expect to have him no matter how long their tournament stay goes.
Let's see if Penn can start to really look for great shots. Coach said they call it multiplying leverage, trying to continue to earn the best opportunity, one Dodger after another, just getting a little bit more.
Good stick there by Vigu on a Handley skip. And a ground ball secured by Richmond. And one of their pulls, Braden McClure. Yeah, that's the big recipe on the Penn end of things offensively. And then for Richmond, in talking with Dan Shamati, he said to us, we want to extend possessions and see if Penn can sustain defensively the energy and the pressure that they like to apply. Lance Madonna scored a big goal in the semifinal win over High Point. He's got some shake. Back out for Lynchbury, the program's all-time leading scorer. 9 in the red as they move it around to X. Peter Blake, top cover man for Penn, 41 in white. He draws the assignment on Young. And Young scores the game's first goal.
Getting top side to your strong hand. Number 21 in red, Ryan Young. He does a great job here, breaking goal unextended, but then using that little bump by the defenseman to just propel him upfield a little bit more to free his hands. Gets it right around Birkinshaw. Great first take for number 21 in red, Ryan Young.
Yeah, Dalton Young's 37th of the season. Second team all-conference in the SoCon, and his head coach, Dan Shamati, said to us, he's incredible. He plays so hard, and he's an elite athlete.
Yeah, between Dalton and Lynchbury, it's interesting. Lynchbury's the quarterback, but Dalton gets the number 1 defenseman.
Off the face-off, it's Joe Gooley. The shorty with his first goal of the season. And how about this start for Richmond?
2-0. You can feel the energy here. Coming off the face-off X. Joe Gooley. First goal of the season. Just picking the ball up and getting open in the middle of the field. That early offense. Great shot by number 36 in red.
First couple of face-offs have gone to the Spiders. It's a true freshman, their face-off man in Chinoy. And this is one now by Zusai out to his wing and Ethan Till. And Penn can get things started offensively.
Let's see if they can get settled in here a little bit. It's been a little bit back and forth. I don't think they've gotten their first real clean possession.
You said multiplying leverage. That means not necessarily taking that best shot right away.
It's earning a little bit better of opportunity every single time as the Dodger. They know that they can beat their matchups, but it's can they find the best shot, not the first one.
Ben Smith gives it up, working in the two-man game from behind goal line. Back up top for Handley. Ivy League Player of the Year and one of the 5 Tewaaraton Award finalists. Chris Canet. Canet rolls back, coming up on 20 to shoot for the Quakers.
You see here, they're double pulling the midfield, and they're short sticking number 24 in white, Ben Smith. Let's see if he can get involved in some two-man games behind the goal here.
Gergard passed it off, and the shot doesn't go for Caleb Fernandez. It'll reset to 60. So early iron for the Quakers. Smith got hit as he shot it, backed up by Cam Rubin. And that's what you have to worry about with Penn, right? The midfield in particular, so throw a couple of pulls on those guys.
Double pulling the midfield, it just leaves number 24, Ben Smith, with a short stick. You saw on the cut there, it's a little bit easier to get your hands free if you have a shorty. And so look for him to kind of get open on those cuts. Oh,
great cut by Gergar. And he's got Penn's first goal.
Gergar showing that he can do it off ball as well. On the backdoor cut, it's a really simple, high-level, effective play. When your defenseman turns his head, move off ball. You saw Gergar just do it right there. Easy goal for him, put it in the top right corner.
See the numbers for the senior from Annapolis. One of the captains, second team All-Ivy League, a guy we enjoyed chatting with this week, and he told us it was a sour taste when they were sitting at home last year watching this event, watching the NCAA tournament like everyone in the Ivy League was.
And what impressed me most was that all these guys came back and were working out together in the offseason in captain's practice. I thought that really showed how driven this Penn team is, and we're seeing that showcase today.
40-plus players on the roster last year in the spring, and they didn't go to other places to train. They stuck around here in Philadelphia, and they were commuting, Sam Hanley told us, 45 minutes each way, 3 times a week for practices. They weren't even allowed to lift here at the Penn facility, so they were in West Philadelphia at a rundown gym.
Just gave them the opportunity to really build that camaraderie and that belief. And that's what's really showcasing and demonstrating to us what this Penn team is all about.
At 10-4 overall, 3-3 in regular season Ivy action. Midway through this first quarter, it's Smith, denied on the bouncer.
And there's Smith taking his short stick matchup. He's got to do that all game long, but he's going to have to finish some of those.
Denied by Vigil. The redshirt freshman who turns it over, and Smith ties the game. Costly giveaway.
Timeout, immediate timeout.
2-2 our score in the first.
Just
Vigil, Grady gives it away.
Just an error there by Vigil. Allows Gergar to take that. They just tied it up. We'll be back soon.
NCAA men's lacrosse coverage continues next weekend for the quarterfinals. The action begins on Saturday at 12 o'clock Eastern over on ESPNU. For more info on the 2022 Men's Lacrosse Championship, visit ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Great crowd on hand. Dunning-Cohen Champions Field here at Penn Park, right next to Ace Adams Field. Commencement ceremonies going on the next couple of days. So an intimate setting for this one and a fun start. 2-2 our score. Richmond and the 3-seed Penn. Chenoy and Zusai on the face-off. And Zusai kicks it toward Farrar. And it's Penn ball. First 2 to Richmond, the second 2 to Penn. And here come the Quakers setting things up again. Gabe Fury is cut from the same cloth of Sam Hanley.
That's a big man right there. In a one-man clear, as you can see. Him and Sam Hanley are a dynamic duo.
Hanley, he'll always get this 20-yard head start. Sends one high. He is a confident young man, and he is focused, and you just get the sense, as we chatted with him this week, he's got damage on the mind over the next few weeks.
Yeah, he had a sense of a quiet confidence to him, and Coach said that Penn's really turned it on in the last couple weeks because Sam Hanley started to settle in, and that was number 24, Ben Smith.
With his second, and it puts Penn up by 1.
And the goal is second
getting topside and coming up the hash. Number 24, Ben Smith, off the feed from number 9, Gabe Fury, keeping his head up. Great job just creeping through the hash there by number 24 in white, Ben Smith.
A guy who came on as the season went along. Freshman attackman from Lutherville, Maryland. And as Mike Murphy said to us, sort of the point guard behind the cage.
And if you're going to really try to lock off Fury and Hanley, Smith's got to have a day, and it seems as if he's really stepping in to have one of those.
Violation on Zoo's side, the first on either team. And Richmond will set up shop down by 1. Well, this Richmond program is battle-tested. They always schedule tough in their 9 years of existence now. And they have beaten premier programs. It seems like they get maybe one a year. They did that this year, of course, with a win against Virginia back in Richmond in April.
That was alumni weekend. They had a ton of guys on campus. They all came in the locker room after the game was over, and they were fired up. And one of the alumni just said to Lynchbury and to all the rest of the team, this is your moment. Embrace it. And, of course, at the end of that, Coach had to hit the gritty.
or attempt to.
Attempt to.
We have the footage we'll show you later of, the dance moves of Dan Shamati. Here's Dalton Young. Theo lens on him this time. Young's pass, trying to find Ryan Dunn, scooped wide of the net, and backed up by Young. Shot clock below 20 for Richmond. Off a Madonna roll. Drew the slide. Madonna is denied by Birkinshaw high to high. Quick outlet here. Penn runs with Jack Joyce. Piper Bond wanted it. And stick it past Big U low.
Back and forth across. Nothing better than this.
Just as we're out here, we're right in the thick of the fans. Hearing the chirps from the first students that arrived gets you fired up. Jules Henningberg, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you from Penn Park, coming up on 5 to go in this opening quarter. Luke Frankeny had a big conference tournament off the side of the net, scooped up by Birkinshaw.
I'd like to see Luke Frankeny earn a little bit of better of a scoring opportunity than that.
Dislodged on the ride, and Lynchbury can't run it down. Hounding Birkinshaw forces a turnover.
And that's the ride that Coach Shamati was talking about with Lynchbury. He's really built that into his game now as a senior, and it shows that's an earned extra possession in an NCAA tournament game. That's going to be huge down the line.
And Mike Murphy doesn't like it. Penn takes a timeout here with just under 5 to go in the first. Well, we alluded to it, and Ryan Lynchbury said to us, this was his lasting image from the marquee Richmond win over Virginia. The head coach showing off the moves.
The gritty. I love it. I love the energy. I love the team's enthusiasm, and they're definitely bringing that here today.
It was in early April, first time in program history defeating Virginia, and their highest ranked win in the 9 years of that program. And you see Lynchbury and Dalton Young, the headliners offensively. And they've played some very tough opponents. Their 4 losses, North Carolina, Duke, Georgetown, and then the regular season meeting against Jacksonville. They lost that game by 2, and that was a big turning point for them.
Yeah, they're battle tested. They're a program that's trying to schedule those top teams so that when they get here, it's nothing new to them, and that's what we're seeing in an early battle against a really, really good Penn team.
And Ryan Lynchbury said to us that, you know, in years past when this program made the NCAA tournament, 18 and 19 that he was around for, they were sort of happy to be here. And you asked him the question, does it feel different this year? And he said, absolutely.
It's one thing to get there. It's another thing to know that you deserve to be there and compete and show up like it. It's a different mentality. They were younger. That senior class is older now, and they're ready to compete.
Well, they trail by 1, but they do have possession here off the ride. And Mike Murphy wanted to chat things over with his third-seeded Penn squad. It's It's a Penn defense, by the way, that again plays without Brendan Lavelle for a 4th straight game. Off-field, non-injury related issues. We asked Mike Murphy, do you expect to have him today or later on if they continue in the NCAA tournament? He said, fingers crossed, but no updates at this point. Young can't get it by Birkinshaw.
Young, even though he didn't score that one, showing off his dynamic dodging ability that Coach Chamati talked to us about. He's the guy that's going to really make the engine go, and Lynchbury is the one that's going to benefit after the defense has really moved around.
Penn has struggled in the clear at times this season, but they clear this one successfully. And they go to work with under 4 to go in the first, leading by 1. Richmond comes up a little further this time to meet Hanley.
You don't want to give number 26 in white, Sam Hanley, that big of a run. He's too strong. He's too dynamic.
Oh, Hanley swimming to score his first.
And you absolutely do not want to leave him in on island with a short stick like that.
You said some big names when you talked about Sam Hanley, Miles Jones, Paul Rabel.
And I meant it. Sam Hanley here going swimming in the rain and showcasing his athleticism one-on-one with a short stick. That's got to be a slide right there. A little bit of a hedge, the swim to a righty jump shot. Again, showcasing his versatility.
4 unanswered goals here for Penn after going down 2-0, and they've got possession with a ground ball to Ethan Till, the freshman Pole.
Seems as if Penn's starting to settle in here a little bit. Hanley gets his first goal of the game. He's had a couple of decent opportunities. I think Penn might really start to unlock what their offense is really all about right now.
Hanley. Running mate Gergard. Already with 1 today. Back behind to Smith, moved around for Hanley. Off a head fake, he draws a flag. And the pass goes toward the Penn sideline.
I'd like to see Gergard there be a little bit more patient with the ball with the flag down. It's a possession you're going to get back no matter what. You might as well try to earn a great shot and look for that leverage, those best opportunities that Coach talked about earlier with us.
1 minute cross check on Richmond.
Getting him right up there under the neck.
Yeah, not so much a head fake, a cross check.
That's what you got to do to stop number 26, Sam Hanley. He's just that big.
All right, so Penn goes man up. They have a great man up unit under Mike Murphy. And Richmond man down. That group has struggled this season.
Watch number 22 in red. John Armstead looked to lock off Hanley. Force them to play 5-on-4.
Gergard, good check from behind. And Richmond comes up with a big ground ball. Great play by Jake Saunders. And then spinning was Jake Kapp, and he lost the handle. Farrar scoops it up.
It just feels like playoff lacrosse.
Well, Richmond did step 1, but Kapp couldn't get out of close quarters. Score! Cam Rubin with the man-up marker, and Penn has scored 5 straight.
Just a big collision in the middle of the field to set up Penn to get that ball back on their man-up offense. And number 12 in right, Cam Rubin, with the snappy release, that sidearm 3/4 around the defenseman that's really, really hard to read, just snaps it to that top right corner.
For Richmond, it starts with needing possession, and their freshman from Fort Lauderdale, Jared Chinoy, comes up with it. What do you want to see from them offensively, Jules?
Coach talked about getting everyone involved in the offense and really working hard together as a unit. I think they've done a little bit too much of one-on-one so far. I want to see dodge, pass, dodge, get it to the backside, get Lynchbury involved after the defense has started to move.
Well, Dan Shamati wants a timeout. Penn has scored the last 5 in this one. You know, they were 4-4 at the outset of the season, and they come in on a 6-game winning streak. And like Murphy said to us, with the way that we schedule, and it is always that way for the Quakers, no surprise in his mind that it was a little bit of a slower start to the season against their schedule.
Yeah, and when they finally got into Ivy League play, he didn't know how it was going to go. The Ivy League was so up in the air, they thought at any given day they could be on the losing record in that conference, and that just showcases how strong the Ivy League really is this year.
Next step for Penn as a program, right, is championship weekend.
Absolutely. And I know the Ivy League is really strong and has been strong. I think it's prepared them for the NCAA tournament. They're starting to settle in here a little bit. I know next game it would be a tough one if they want to continue along, but I do think Penn has a pedigree to get there.
I got a long way to go here. They're up by 3 late first quarter for a team that had an excellent 2019 season. That was a trip to the NCAA tournament for their first time since 2014 and first time winning a game in the NCAA tournament since the late 80s. They lost, of course, in that overtime thriller against Yale 19-18. And the farthest trip in program history is that 88 team that went to the Final Four.
The Ivy League just feels different this year because they had that time off. Everyone's so hungry to compete and to get back. And again, these coaches didn't know how this all was going to shake out. When we were talking to Coach Murphy about it, he said the recruiting side of it has really blossomed and blown up. He said they're going to be really, really good for the next couple of years.
He was so terrified, he told us. I was worried it was going to be a one-bid league. You can understand that. He wasn't alone in the concern with the Ivy League not playing at all last season. They played one game against Cabrini last year, but that was it. Just the training that we mentioned from the Quakers. All right, so out of the timeout, Richmond trying to stop this Penn run. Lance Madonna takes it to X. Lynchbury works a lot of two-man game. Now the dynamic Dalton Young. Coming up on 90 ticks to go in the first.
See if they can draw a slide. Get it to, there it is, get it to Lynchbury so he can feed the ball.
Big save, Birkinshaw. Staring down Frankeny, and now Farrar runs. Pass too tall for Gergar. And then Smith couldn't secure it. And a ground ball to Richmond.
Even though Richmond didn't convert on that one, that's what we want to see a little bit more of on their offense. Getting Lynchbury the ball after a slide's been drawn, after the defense is rotated.
Cooper Dayton drew it. Lynchbury skipped it. He is always looking for that pass, he told us, to Frankeny. See the save from Birkinshaw on a guy with a heavy shot. The transfer, Luke Frankeny from Mount St. Mary's.
It's important for them to have some clock awareness right now. 30 seconds left in the first quarter. They don't want to give Penn another chance and have this get to 6-2. I'm really looking to earn a great shot in the last 7 seconds here of this possession.
True freshman Henry Alpa with it. Right near midfield. Alpa maneuvers. Bounces it wide. Dunn to the backup with 5 seconds left. Dunn bounces one over the top of Lynchbury. And that will do it for the first quarter here in Philadelphia. Well, the first 2 went to Richmond, and the next 5 to Penn. With a great crowd on hand on a rainy Saturday here in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Richmond came in fired up, put 2 on the board, and a physical first. Penn the next 5. Quarter number 2 in Philadelphia, and the 3-seed Penn leads Richmond by 3. Jules Heningberg, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you. Gonna take a look at our half of the bracket here. Winner of this one gets tomorrow's winner. Rutgers, the 6th seed, and Harvard did get into the NCAA tournament as the 6th Ivy.
Yeah, they were probably the last team really in on that bubble.
And turns it over right out of the gates here in the second. And yeah, it's just a very different looking NCAA tournament than what you might expect year after year.
But you got to feel for the Ivy guys who've had 2 years off.
Absolutely. And
now to really earn the bids that they did and have the chance to play. Let's see if they can really prove what the Ivy League's all about. I know Princeton got that one earlier versus BU. Yeah,
and that's what Dylan Gergar said to us, that it felt like every game in the conference this year was a one-goal game because there was so much competition and everyone's so fired up the way last year went. Well, that is much needed for Richmond. An early strike, first minute of the second, and Ryan Lynchbury's on the board.
Great vision by number 2 in red, Lance Madonna, to find Lynchbury sneaking that back pipe. This is a fundamental, really important skill set. Again, moving off ball, but as the ex-tackman, making sure that you're creeping those pipes to be available for those shots.
40 now for Ryan Lynchbury. Very much likely the best player in the 9 years of Richmond lacrosse history. Big hit off the wing play there, Jake Kapp. Now Richmond possesses. Jeff Nugent, 7 in red. One of the most athletic kids on the team. Was banged up out of the gates to begin this season. Alpaw, the 6'5" freshman. Spins it back for Nugent.
Been a little bit sloppy here today. You got to think that the rain is sort of playing a factor in some of the guys' sticks.
Young rolling, trying to elude Blake. Pass intended for Pfeiffer and picked up by Matt Palazzi. Nerves-wise too, where do you think both teams are at?
I felt like early on there was a little bit of nerves, but I think that the guys have really started to settle in here. The compete level has been high the entire time, but look for this game to really start to come into its own.
So Penn sets up shop, leading by 2. First 2 minutes here in the second. Hanley directs Ben Smith where to go with it to Luke DiGiacobi. Not seen James Shipley yet. He did not play Sunday in the Ivy League Tournament Championship game. One of the very talented midfielders for this Penn team. Penn turns it over.
Richmond has numbers here. Take advantage of it.
They find the pole Saunders and a leg save there right between the wickets by Birkinshaw.
And that's one of those you're going to look back on this game if they don't win, that you got to say they have to score that goal.
Need better execution?
Absolutely. That was about a 5-on-3 opportunity there.
Chance to cut it to 1 here in the first few minutes of the second. So again, that means no Shipley, no Walsh, no Lavelle for the Quakers. Hanley gave it up. Big U makes the stop on the short side there on Rubin, but back to Hanley, feeding X for Smith.
It's a good opportunity for Hanley here on a short stick. Watch for the early slide.
Hanley snipes one. Too easy if you put a shorty on him.
Way too easy for Sam Hanley, showcasing his range. You cannot leave him on an island with a short stick. Number 26 in white, Hanley, again, just showcasing his size and range as a shooter. You have to slide earlier there. I don't know why they're waiting so long. When he steps into the parking lot, he's in shooting range. You got to get on his hands.
How different is it Jules, to go up against the likes of Hanley and a Penn offense that is so midfield driven?
I think it just really forces you to play above the cage more and concentrate so much that it opens up those pipes. But it doesn't even seem like they're trying to do that. If I'm a Richmond defense, I have to slide early, and that might open up Hanley to get some of those looks later on. But right now, he's just having a day.
Foul called on Richmond faceoff man Jared Chenoy. So Penn right back with it, ahead by 3. Here's Fury. And the head of steam. Working around for Gergar, and a few times on passes for Gergar, they're out of sync.
That's another Penn turnover. It's a 4th one we've seen in the last 5 or 6 possessions.
Now they now have 8 turnovers in total here in the first 19 minutes of this one. Saunders got stripped momentarily by Smith. 5 seconds to clear. And Saunders uses the safety valve of Dalton Young. Got to clear it and get it over midfield by the time the first 20 seconds have gone down on the possession clock to 60.
And the weather absolutely affects these guys' pockets, but we're in an NCAA tournament game. You're going to start to have to get settled into that and shorten up your passes at the end of the day, because Penn can't keep afford to turning the ball over like they have been all game.
Madonna scores.
Low angle shooting here for Madonna. Again, no slide on a short stick. Doesn't matter for Madonna. He does a great job using that pump fake to hesitate that slide a little bit and then finish it in that bottom left low corner.
Sophomore from East Syracuse, New York, with his first of the afternoon, 2nd team all-conference, and a very talented, ambidextrous midfielder for Richmond.
Both teams have been really shy to slide to their short sticks today. I think it says a lot about how much the defense trusts their short stick matchups, but I got to believe that Richmond on this possession has to go early to Penn's midfield.
Piper Bond is still out there. Fury comes on. And so does Ben Bedard, and now Hanley. With the pole J cap on him this time. Smith from X. Hanley. Save made by Vigu.
I don't love that shot by Hanley. I think out of that roll, he could have kept his momentum going towards the cage and either earned a little bit of that low angle shot or drew that defenseman off the pipe and passed it back to X and allowed the X attackman to really pick apart the defense.
4th save for Vigu. And now Richmond slows it out of transition with Ryan Dunn. Richmond trails by 2. Nugent whips it wide here for Pfeiffer. Draws the slide and now Dunn for Alpaw. Easy bouncer stopped by Birkinshaw.
Alpaw didn't seem too comfortable with his right hand on that shot there. AB to settle. He could have kept that moving, potentially earned a better shot on the backside. But that ride that Richmond has.
How about that from Dalton Young? Right near midfield in front of the great Jules Henningberg.
That's the 2nd opportunity that Richmond's earned back off of their ride. Those are the plays that really give you that confidence and that energy as an offense to come back and earn a great shot opportunity.
And you said it's a tone, riding-wise, that's been set in large part this year by Lynchbury. Big save, Birkinshaw staring down Cooper Dayton. Farrar starts transition for Rubin. Now D. Jacoby from Gergar. Braden McClure, the pole. He aligns on Hanley off ball. Gergar with the shorty, finds Handley. Draws the slide. Now Gergar through the contact and corralled by Penn.
Got to go early here. Got to go early.
Handley is stopped by Vigu. Off the quick outlet, Richmond with it now, down by 2 midway through the second.
So strange to me. I don't know what Richmond's defensive plan was coming into this game, but if I was a betting man, would have thought it either had to be locking him off, at least with a short stick, or if you're going to pull or short stick him normally, you got to slide early, because right out of his little split dodge, he's in shooting range.
Sam Handley's got 2 goals on 6 shots so far in these first couple of quarters. Dunn. Veteran attackman for the Spiders. Back behind the cage for Dalton Young, who scores. 1-goal game in the second. Second for Dalton Young. And it's 6-5 Quakers with less than 7 to go in the second.
Dalton Young just being fearless, showcasing his athleticism once again, getting Richmond back into this game.
Penn leads by 1, and Sam Handley, the Tewaaraton finalist, has 2 goals.
And he's continuing to showcase his range today. The minute he split dodges right to right, left to left, does not matter. He comes out of that, he's in shooting range. You have to start sliding to him, otherwise it's going to be a long day for the Richmond team.
You'll recall all the way back in 2019, not only was he a first-team All-American, but he was the National Freshman of the Year. 2020 pre-shutdown, game against Maryland, he takes a hit. Unbeknownst to him at the time, his spleen burst. And it wasn't until later that night that he realized that he was bleeding internally. He was with his father at a restaurant after the game, said, "I've got to go to the hospital." He did, and he was bleeding for 8 hours. They rushed him into surgery. He was in the hospital for a week, and he said, if I didn't go to the hospital that night, I wouldn't be here today.
And credit to his awareness and really just recognizing that I don't feel right and getting himself to the opportunity, because otherwise we don't know what else could have happened.
They took out 10 inches of his spleen. They stitched up what was left. They took out all the blood, and that's what he said in relaying it to us, how grateful he was for just the wherewithal, wherever cosmically that came from, to know, I got to go do something about this.
We are thankful he did.
Yes. What a joy he is to watch. Got a 1-goal game here in the second of our second of 8 NCAA tournament men's lacrosse games over these 2 days. Fury off a split, sails it. Well, James Shipley is out there, 37 in white. On a slick day, a guy who has been banged up due to injury. Gergar wide. And backed up by Richmond.
I know they didn't score that, but I loved that move out of Shipley. And then if you notice just a quick turn of the head and whip that ball through the defense for a great scoring opportunity, I would love to see him get involved a little bit more now.
Saunders clears successfully. For Richmond, they've got 2 goals from Dalton Young and then 1 each from Lynchbury, Madonna, and their shorty, Joe Goalie. Frankeny's been quiet in this one, 6 in the red. The sharpshooting midfielder. This is Madonna. Works it to X. Crease feed, and Young has a hat trick and ties the game.
High quality, simple offense. Number 2, Lance Madonna just draws that slide, The ex-attackman, Dunn, pushes, back pipe, catches the ball, and then finds number 21, Dalton Young, just slipping to get that easy catch and finish. Just great high-level offense. Simple, effective.
Motion-based offense, as they were telling us, equal opportunity in terms of who can initiate at any point.
I believe Richmond can do that all game long with the short stick matchups that they're getting up top. They just have to continue to really invest into those great opportunities.
Zusai lost his glove. Penn retains possession here with under 5 to go until halftime. The lead's been as large as 3 for the 3 seed. Fury out of the box. Tried to get it back. Smith found it. Save Biggie. Big ground ball. Griffin Kaloji gets drilled. And Ray Barron spills out of there with it. In transition. Bouncer misses from Braden McClure. Just joining us, Richmond got the first 2 goals in this one. Jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first 4 minutes or so of action. But then 5 in a row from Penn. Nugent still navigating. And he turns it over.
Nugent got caught in the in-between there. Wasn't sure if he was going to snap that ball through the defense, but he started to and then kind of gave up control of the rock.
3.5 to go in this second quarter. Still 2 more games to come today here on ESPNU. 5 o'clock, St. Joe's and the 4-seed Yale. Chris Carter and Paul Carcaterra on the call for that. And then 7:30, the nightcap, Virginia at Brown. Drew Carter and Matt Ward. Winner of that one will get the winner of tomorrow's game between the top seed Maryland and Vermont. Here's Gergar coming up on 30 to shoot for Penn. Gergar driving and a save. Thank you.
Credit to Penn's short stick D-middies today. They are not scared of Penn's midfielders or having to guard their attackmen because they're double pulling the midfield. So credit to those guys for really, really maintaining their toughness so far throughout this game.
And it's a group that is veteran. It's a lot of seniors among the 4 or 5 shorties that you see out of the holster for Richmond as part of that rope unit. And Dan Shamati said to us, the thing that typifies that group and really the senior class as a whole is just overachieving. This was a little bit less known of a Richmond team coming into this season than in years past. Frankeny's got it, and Frankeny can't get it past Birkinshaw.
That's 2 back-to-back possessions between Penn and Richmond where you've seen guys settle for those low-angle shots and the goalies just be in great position to have the ball hit their body. We want to start to earn a little bit better of shooting opportunity. If it's not there when you get in those low alleys and you can't finish it off of that twister or sneaking by, just pass that ball through X and let the X-attackman operate.
7 saves for Vigu and 9 for Birkinshaw. Fury out of the box with the shorty on him. Gergar got a piece of it and a race toward the sideline, picks up the ground ball.
The huge ground ball for Penn.
Eluded Saunders. What a feed for Smith. Oh, that is nifty from Gergar.
Talk about trust from Gergar. Great ground ball. Just slings that thing in there to number 24 and white, Ben Smith. They really trust each other for that pass. I don't know why Richmond's goalie was coming out like that, but that made it a lot easier than it needed to be, and an amazing catch and finish by number 24 in white, Ben Smith.
Off the delivery from Dylan Gergar, who was huge in the Ivy League tournament. 5 goals against Brown. Then in the title game, 4 goals, 2 assists against Yale. It's Penn ball. All right, so Richmond tied it. Smith puts Penn back up. And now Penn can hold for the final shot.
We got ourselves a game here today. Richmond came to play. They're not backing down. There's been a lot of turnovers, and it's been close.
Penn has turned it over 9 times. And though they do have a 10-5 face-off edge, and led by as many as 3, 1-goal margin here coming up on the final 30 seconds of this second quarter.
I know I said it earlier, but you do not want to give Richmond, if you're Penn, you don't want to give Richmond another opportunity to score. Really want to hold for the last best shot here of the possession.
And work it around to Fury. Fury dispossessed. Kaloji took it away, and now Richmond could get off a final shot. Long clearance, and did they get the timeout first? They did before the shot was taken. So Dan Shamati will utilize these final 6 seconds and just got the timeout.
Great timeout. I didn't think Richmond needed to throw that ball down there that early. A lack of shot clock awareness. They were lucky to get that. BJ Farrar just missed it. But look for Richmond to draw up a scheme here that hopefully gets the ball in Ryan Lansbury's stick to find someone off ball.
Yeah, the freshman Griffin Kaloji with the heave. But it will end up being one final look here for Richmond. Well, when you sized up the NCAA tournament field, it felt like this could be one of the best opportunities to get an upset in the NCAA tournament. In our game summary, Penn led by 3 after 1. Richmond came out with a fast start to the second. And they've got a hat trick in this one from Dalton Young.
And I think the game's going to be won or lost here, really in the middle of the field. Who can turn the ball over less? Who can ride harder? And then who's going to really get that edge as far as the goalies go?
Who has impressed you as far as the goalie side of things? Vigu, Birkinshaw, what do you thought of those two?
Both guys, I think, have done a great job just really holding the pipe and forcing these shooters to try to get it past them, but they're hitting them. And I think Birkinshaw, coming into today's matchup, coach said it, that he's one of the most talented goalies he's ever had in Penn's history of the program. It's the first time I've watched him this season, really, and he's showcasing to me that ability to see the ball. As Coach Murphy said, he says it's the number one most important thing he looks for in goaltenders. Can you see the ball?
Instincts and vision. He's spotlighted with his senior goalie. You're in Philadelphia. First round, day 1, NCAA tournament, game 2 of 8. You're on ESPNU. Final 6 seconds, Richmond trying to tie it, and a pass intended for Frankeny picked off by Ethan Till to close out the first half.
Great job by Penn there. Really just making sure that this game did not get tied up going into halftime, and they maintain momentum.
So 7-6. The Quakers' advantage here at Penn Park after the first 30 minutes. Hope to have Mike Murphy join us here in just a second. We will preview the upcoming games that still remain today here at halftime as well. We'll look ahead to top-seeded Maryland tomorrow, squaring off with Vermont as well. We'll talk a little PLL, get you some highlights and some stats as well from these first 2 quarters in Philadelphia. Told you the hat trick from Young, and on the other side for Penn, the hat trick from the freshman Ben Smith.
Ben Smith really stepped up today, getting short-sticked a lot of this game by Richmond puts him in an opportunity to naturally have more chances scoring off ball, scoring with the ball and a stick, and he's really showcased that he was ready for that opportunity today.
You see Penn now able to leave the field. It's a little bit of a unique setup. Richmond had to head off first, and now Penn able to leave as they have turned this great venue, Dunning-Cohen Champions Fields, into the host site for some NCAA tournament lacrosse.
And it's great. The environment is awesome here. You're really close to the field.
And we now have Mike Murphy kind enough to join us. Coach, just your assessment from the first 2 quarters.
Yeah, 2 different quarters for sure. First, they came out, scored 2, and then we responded with 4 straight. And then I felt like, they made a few adjustments, and we took our foot off the gas pedal a little bit, made some silly mistakes at the defensive end, ball watching and things. And credit to Richmond, they got themselves back in it, and thankfully we were able to take a lead into halftime.
Coach, on a rainy day here, obviously, James Shipley, we saw him briefly. What do you expect to maybe have from him in the second half?
Yeah, I think more of the same. Use him, when we can. He can beat his man and create offense for us, so we'll keep leaning on him to do that.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot for the time.
All right, thanks, guys. See ya.
So Mike Murphy's group up by 1 here after 2 quarters in Philadelphia. Richmond went up early. Penn got that X5, and at the break, it's the Quakers, the 3 seed, leading Richmond by 1. Back to Philadelphia right after this. "7-6 is the Penn lead on Richmond here in the first round of the NCAA tournament as we start the 3rd quarter. And the highlights from this first half, we had a couple of hat tricks, including Dalton Young on one side for Richmond and Ben Smith on the Penn side of things.
Yeah, and it has been a battle, starting with number 21 in red, Dalton Young, doing a great job getting up the hash, the middle of the field, earning great opportunities like that one. And we had the backdoor cut. Seeing Smith on Penn really stepping up today on that backdoor cut, and just in general, he's got 3 goals today. You see another one there coming up the hash with Hanley showcasing his vision, and Birkinshaw, again, showcasing how well he really holds the pipes and that ability for him to stop the rock. Ham, Ruben, that lefty zinger, and it's just been a back and forth match all day. To me, the second half is going to be defined by who can take possessions more seriously, make sure that the water's not getting in the way of you having the ball, right? And then can they stop Sam Hanley in the second half? Because I believe he's going to step up and showcase how dominant of a player he really is.
Yeah, you heard Penn head coach Mike Murphy say to us headed to halftime that they had some sloppy play and they had some defensive breakdowns as well that he wasn't pleased with, and you got to imagine were addressed there at the intermission.
Absolutely, and I do think Richmond can just earn high-quality opportunities by just drawing the slide and getting moving. Sometimes I think they settle a little bit, but we'll see what happens in the second half.
We see that face-offs were 10-5 in favor of Penn, and it's Jared Chenoy and Jamie Zusai who've been locking horns so far on this rainy afternoon in Philadelphia. Glad to have you with us. Great weekend here of lacrosse in the postseason. So Penn's got the first possession. They got the 3 from Smith. They got 2 from Hanley, and then 1 each from Gergar, and that snipe you mentioned, left-handed from Rubin. J-Cap 41 in red. He is the top LSM for Richmond, who had a lot of time on Hanley in that first half. He's really athletic. He's got big play potential, but as Dan Shamati said to us, we don't have anyone in practice that can emulate Sam Hanley, and no one does in the country. Jake Saunders swallowed up that blocked shot. He starts the clearance for Richmond.
And I know that had to hurt off Gabe Fury, another 6'5" midfielder, slinging that thing, and it's just hitting you right below the waist. That's tough.
Goalie got 1 in the first half. Said, why not go for 2 on the season now?
It's got to make it a little bit more difficult than that for Birkinshaw.
Starts the clearance to Farrar. And Smith gets it down to X. Gergar has the veteran, Ray Barron, 5th-year senior, one of the leaders on this Richmond team on him. Gergar takes the hit from Barron and uses Handley. Keeps it moving, and Rubin got stripped. Well done defensively by the freshman Griffin Kalochi, and now Richmond runs.
Another 54 situation. Can they take advantage of it with a great scoring opportunity? And they do.
McClure this time, and we're tied at 7. First career goal for the redshirt freshman, Braden McClure.
Defense to offense, another 54 situation. This time they take care of the ball and actually make it count. That's number 33, Braden McClure. I thought of some of those opportunities that they missed on earlier in the game. Not great shots, dropping the ball. That one they executed on. That's a big time. That's a 5v4 opportunity, just in case you don't know what that is. Just defense to offense when there's a little bit more offensive guys versus the defense, 5 guys compared to 4. It's just a great opportunity to take advantage of the numbers advantage for the offense.
And McClure able to capitalize to tie this thing up at 7 here, just past these first couple of minutes in the third quarter. Fury out of the box. Dart moves it, and now Handley matched up with the shorty, which is a dangerous proposition for Richmond. Gergar trying to shake Barron. Gergar scores! No. They wave it off right at the crease.
That was a nifty finish by Gergar, but just stepped in the crease there.
And then Richmond gives it away, and here comes Penn right back at Zach Vigil. Jacoby comes on for Penn. One of the two-way midfield options. It's a little unique how Penn operates and uses its substitutions with its midfield.
Yeah, Handley's going to be kind of always on there, but then they have a couple guys that are rotating through. It's pretty unique, actually, that they have guys that can play two-way every single time on the field to kind of balance the offense out with Handley. That way, they're never going to get stuck in a bad position going from offense to defense.
Handley jumps into that one and sent it wide. Ivy League Player of the Year, the senior from Portland, Oregon. Part of the Oregon Trail to the highest levels of this great sport. Good stick in the passing lane from McClure off the Gergar feed. And Farrar picked it up in a race with Dalton Young.
Great play by number 1 in white, BJ Farrar. Just securing that ground ball right away, getting them possession back.
Last weekend moved down to the close defense because of Lavelle's now continued absence. And a guy who does a lot, and especially when he's the pull in transition. Shot clock below 10. This is Ben Smith operating from X. They couldn't dunk that one past Zach Vigil. And Richmond will try to clear successfully this time.
I don't think Richmond's defense is really stopping Penn right now. I think Penn is settling for not great shots. I want to see them really earn those high opportunity shots that Coach said that they like to do. Earn the leverage, continue to work for the best shot, not the first shot. And I think that Sam Handley, the guy that is a Tewaaraton front runner, is going to have to step up on this offense and allow them to really start to execute that.
As Richmond now at this end goes to work. Farrar on Lynchbury. Now worked around to Dayton. Good off-ball midfielder who Benjamini says helps with the offensive flow of this unit.
Watch for the early slide here.
They send it to Lance Madonna.
Got to get out of your stick quicker, though, if you're Madonna.
Lynchbury turns one over that had Dalton Young shaking his head on a pass intended for Luke Frankeny.
If I'm Madonna, you have to know that that early slide is going to come. Just be ready to get the ball out of your stick a little bit quicker and make the simple read out of that.
Jacoby can't connect there on his pass for Ben Smith.
seems like it's going to be who can get less turnovers today.
For the casual fan, Jules, rain does what in terms of just throwing and catching?
When we're talking about rain, it's one of the few sports that really impacts your performance. In lacrosse, you have a pocket, it's mesh. When it gets wet, it alters the way that the ball grips in the pocket. So naturally, when it's wet, it's going to go a little bit higher. So you have to shorten your passes, work for singles, limit how much you have to really throw the ball, the distance that you have to throw.
Lynchbury, a guy who's been relatively quiet in this one. Just 1 point. Got a little greedy with his skip pass on this last Richmond possession. Madonna feeds, and Richmond leads. It's Ryan Dunn putting the Spiders on top. Come on!
Ryan Dunn finding the green, we call this. Good job getting into that low alley. And then Dunn just settles into that green. He doesn't move too far towards goal line extended to run his angle out. He just settles in there, catches it, gets it in and out of his stick quickly for a great goal.
Senior attackman from Towson, Maryland. It's been the best year of his career coming into today. Twice as many points this year as he had in his entire career before this season. Farrar, another ground ball. Boy, he did everything Friday in the Ivy League tournament semifinals up in Providence. And the whistle there goes against Joe Gooley.
I've loved Farrar's ability to get the ball off the ground quickly today. Showcasing that in the combination of his speed, he's really a high-level player for Penn.
A Richmond team that has never won an NCAA tournament game. And Shamani's the only head coach in the Young program history. 4th trip, though, now in 9 seasons. Fury with some shake on the shorty. Goes high. And it's backed up by Richmond.
Yet another turnover there. I know that one wasn't due to stick work, but you have to have shot back up. There needs to be an attackman back there. That's his job to make sure that he gets the ball back off that Fury shot.
As good as a turnover there.
Exactly.
Now Richmond with 5 seconds to clear, and they have trouble. Gooley couldn't connect on his pass from Nugent, and it's a Richmond giveaway.
About 7 or 8 turnovers we've seen in the last 10 possessions.
13 turnovers for Penn, 8 for Richmond. Richmond crowd trying to will on the defense here at Philadelphia. Bedard gave it back. Fury misses high. And it's backed up this time by the Quakers as Cam Rubin got to it.
I'd love to see Bedard attack that short stick again. Get the guy that's guarding Fury to just drift off of him a little bit so he can get his hands free without anyone on him to let that thing sling. That strong shot.
Fury had it pop out of his stick on the shot, and Vignew picks it up. Vignew, who was not the starting goalie to begin the season, gives them better ability in the clear, but his pass ends up near the sideline, and Farrar battling for it. And I believe they say that when he had it, he was out on the sideline.
If I'm Richmond here, take a deep breath. Look at the score. There's an amazing opportunity at hand here to really tie it up. They're getting the ball back over and over and over again. If they can just settle into a little bit and earn a great opportunity, they could walk out of here with a win.
Singles, not
singles.
Doubles, triples, homers. Madonna trying to shake. Misses wide, backed up by Ryan Dunn. 6.5 to go, 3rd quarter. It's Dunn, missing short side. Let's see if Frankeny can get going for Richmond. Been quiet so far this afternoon. Young rolling. Trying to get topside through the slide. And Young is hounded. And a great defense defensive effort there by Peter Blake.
Right now, Richmond, they're just holding the ball a little bit too long in their sticks. They have to earn the slide and just keep the ball hot. Let the ball do the work.
Top cover guy for this Penn team is the junior from Needham, Massachusetts, Peter Blake.
Great job there by number. See Blake, 41, Peter Blake, contact at goal line extended, really pushing Young off his line.
Now Penn will look to tie it. Tied for the highest seed in program history, the 3 seed of the 6 Ivy League teams here in the NCAA tournament. Urquhart got stripped, ran his man over. Penn trying to come up with a ground ball. Caleb Fernandez gets lodged in there. Barron picked it up and recovers.
Credit to number 22 in red, John Armstead. Again, they're fearless. They're not afraid of these Penn midfielders.
And then Matt Civitella works it forward. It's Farrar on Lynchbury. He got it back. Still hangs on to it and then pried free by Tyler Keel.
Farrar going head-to-head there. Number 1 in white with Lynchbury.
And Dalton Young on the ride again. And now a timeout taken by Mike Murphy.
Much needed timeout, I would say.
It hasn't been a masterpiece here in the third, but it has been physical and intense. Richmond by 1. One-goal game, third quarter NCAA tournament in Philadelphia. And Matt Madelon, the Princeton head coach, he said it earlier this year, the term, it has stuck from various sources. The Cardiac Quakers. Penn, their 4 losses by a combined 6 goals, plus 4 one-goal wins, and you see 2 of them in overtime.
Yeah, and right now, I think it just comes down to who can turn the ball over less. Who can turn it over less, just settle in a little bit, and take advantage of the great opportunity you have here today to walk away with a win.
Flip side of things for Richmond. Dan Shamati said to us that a big part of the conversation this week was we can't just be happy to be here. We need to flip our mindset. And he said, you got to start thinking that you can make a Final Four run. That's what he wants the mindset to be with his group. Well, it's Richmond by 1, under 4.5 to go in this third. And Cooper Dayton operating for the Spiders, working it back to Dalton Young. He's got a hat trick in this one. It's a pick from Dunn.
They're going to go settled without getting the defense moving. I'd love to see a short stick back there with Young instead of 2 poles.
Now Lance Madonna. He's got the shorty. Piper Bond, Penn's best on him. And now Young with Blake on him. Dalton Young trying to get top side, gives it up in the direction of Frankeny. Couldn't corral the pass. And the push goes against Penn and Ethan Till.
Great vision there by number 21 in red, Young. Didn't get through, but he got his hands free from a short stick screen behind the cage. Let's see him operate a little bit more with that and see if that can get some things going for Richmond.
Madonna working on Lenz, draws a slide, and here comes a double. Madonna picks it back up. Skips the pass, good stick by Farrar, but Richmond still with it. 30 to shoot for Richmond.
And once the Penn defense gets on you, they are stuck, those lefties. They're not letting you get away.
It's Ryan Dunn, the senior. Spins it back, nowhere to go. Madonna was calling for it. And he has it dislodged. Peter Blake again with some help from Jack Joyce.
Peter Blake with the takeaway check there, but that is just a solid defensive possession out of Penn. Let's see if they can capitalize on the offense right here. Hit singles, make the easy read.
A defense that was 6th best in the country coming into the tournament in adjusted defensive efficiency. Henley fires and scores. That is too much room for a cannon like that. This game's tied.
And it does not get much easier than that for Sam Hanley stepping in for, I don't know, 11 yards. Again, he's got 15, 16-yard legit two-point PLL range, and no one picks him up, and he just steps in and uncorks one. There's no goalie in the country that's stopping that. Great job by the defense getting a stop, and then offense converting on that. That's the momentum that Penn needs to really start to shape up for a big victory today.
That is the loudest and brightest of SOS blaring when you see that kind of room for Sam Hanley.
Salivating for that kind of shot.
Had a couple of ties and 3 lead changes. And Zooside, the face-off win for Penn. Winner here faces the winner of tomorrow's game between Rutgers, the 6th seed, and Harvard.
That's 9 straight face-off wins for Penn. They're kind of being balanced out by the turnovers.
Gagarin a dive, but Richmond beat them to it. How about the effort there from the 5th-year senior, Tim Adams?
That's a senior who does not want to walk away here with the loss. That's the kind of effort that he just gave, taking a possession away from Penn.
A guy whose parents went to Richmond. He's been one of the veterans. Ray Parent, one of the other 5th-year seniors, went up to Tim Adams last year after they lost in the conference tournament championship game, and they started plotting a return for an unexpected 5th season, and they've got Richmond here in the NCAA tournament, tied with the 3-seed Penn. Freshman Alpa gives it up. Now back to Dalton Young with a shorty on it.
We talk about size with Penn, but Alpa, number 13 in red, is a big boy too. Bright future for number 13 on Richmond.
Now Pfeiffer, Lake slipped, help came in the form of Keel. 20 to shoot.
It's a small thing, but notice Lynchbury, those 2 extra pumps, you have to recognize if it's there sooner. If it's not there, got to get the ball out of his stick so we can get it back up top to re-dodge in the offense.
He's got it now with 11 left. Fires it quickly this time for Dunn. And Dunn's pass unable to connect with Young, and it goes back to Penn, who can take the final shot of the 3rd.
And it seems like Penn has been able to get this over the course of the game, the kind of final shot. Let's see if they can convert on this one and continue their momentum from the last goal that they had.
They had a wild sequence at the end of a quarter in the Ivy League tournament. What can they do here at the end of the 3rd quarter in the NCAA tournament? 1st round action. 6 seconds, and Birkinshaw lofts it safely to Bedard. He hits the accelerator. Waiting for Hanley, who needs Bond to touch up. And the stick of Sam Hanley. Tied at 8, waiting seconds. His bench telling him to go.
Gotta go here.
Fury comes on. He's trying to work on the shorty. And offside is called. With 1 second left, Saunders flings it. Birkinshaw stops it. And we will head to the 4th quarter in Philadelphia in an 8-8 game. Mike Murphy's bunch getting everything they can handle from the SoCon automatic qualifier in Richmond. 8-8 our score to the 4th after this. NCAA men's lacrosse coverage continues next weekend for the quarterfinals. The action begins on Saturday the 21st at 12 o'clock Eastern on ESPNU. For more info on the 2022 Men's Lacrosse Championship, visit NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Penn Richmond to the 4th, 3-seed Quakers. Tomorrow, the winner will get whoever emerges from Rutgers and Harvard. Jules Henningberg, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you. The keys that you're watching, Jules, in this 4th.
Well, Penn won every single face-off last quarter, and it's still just 8-8. That speaks to how much they're really turning the ball over. Richmond as well. Who can turn over less, and who can just play within themselves on offense to the defense really isn't stopping them that much, just earn better scoring opportunities.
Richmond did not win a faceoff in the third quarter, but Joe Gooley picked up that ground ball, and now Richmond can operate and sustain a little bit more possession than what they had in the third.
I'd love to see them go back to the look where they attack a short stick from the high wing, draw the defenseman, move it through X, and allow the X attackman to make the reads.
So that point of initiation right there was Madonna high wing against Piper Bond.
Exactly, but then they hold it for a little bit too long. It has to be in and out of his stick if it's not wide open on the crease or over the top.
Dunn tried to go short side on Birkinshaw. Spills back out. Dayton picks it up. A fresh 60.
Yeah, Birkinshaw's been seeing those low angle shots all day long.
Senior goalie coming off a huge Ivy League tournament. Lynchbury thought about it. Instead moves it for Madonna. Again, the shorty Bond on him. Now Dalton Young with some shake. Swept it low, and again Birkinshaw goes to that low angle to make a stop.
Birkinshaw, 2 huge saves there. And I don't think Richmond really earned anything that was that great. I know Young was in the middle there. He had to bounce off after that rushed approach. That's a hard scoring opportunity.
Dylan Gergar, one of the superstars on this Penn team. And now Hanley comes on. Fury as well. Hits the accelerators. Goes to X for Smith, who's got 4 points in this one. Now Gergar trying to bully his way to a better spot. Hanley is stopped by Vignew.
Now that, to me, is a quality offensive possession. Yes, Hanley did not score it, but if you can start to lean into those over the course of the quarter, you're going to come out with more goals than not.
It's all about shot quality here.
All about shot quality. Limit turnovers, get high quality shots.
Frankeny, who had 33 goals, he's been quiet. In the fifth-year senior, first team all-conference, 6 in red. And now worked around to Mitch Pfeiffer, the junior. Maneuvered against Palazzi. And now Madonna against Bedard. Madonna had a pass picked off by Birkinshaw. Very aggressive play.
The reason Madonna, number 2 in red, had to skip the ball there, this is a small thing, but Lynchbury wasn't available as an adjacent pass at X because Farrar was locking him off. Either he has to get out further and Farrar isn't locking him off, or Madonna has to be able to bounce away and pass back up top so he doesn't have to force that pass for a turnover.
Find a different attack.
Exactly.
Still tied at 8. Just over 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. Princeton has already won today. This is the second of the 4 games on day 1 of the NCAA tournament. DeJacoby against John Armistead. The best of the shorties for Richmond. And now Jack Schultz, 5th-year senior from Charlottesville, with an attack background as Gergar sails it high, backed up by DeJacoby. McClure on Sam Handley. The Ivy League Player of the Year moves it for Schultz. Handley was calling for it. What a catch by Sam Handley. Swims back to a feed for Gergar. 8 to shoot, backed up by Penn.
Not so sure about that pass to Handley, an unbelievable handle. And then he found an open man for, again, high quality scoring opportunity. One of these is bound to drop.
He comes to get it. He feeds Schultz, who lost it on the catch. Barron trying to win the ground ball. Possession expires. Richmond's got it. Tied at 8. Jeff Nugent runs on. Still like that high wing is where to start things for Richmond?
Absolutely. And it's something Richmond's been doing today a little bit too much of, is passing the ball, skipping it through without drawing a slide. I'd love to have them put Lynchbury in a position where a slide's been drawn and then he can skip the ball through.
He's had Farrar with him here in the second half. Pfeiffer gave it up. Now Dalton Young rolling on Blake. Inside roll not there. Well defended. And Till vacuums up the ground ball.
It just seems like Richmond is getting the ball back again and again, and they just can't seem to get it going. Eventually, Penn is going to step away and extend this lead because they're getting great shoots and scoring opportunities if Richmond doesn't begin to find better shots.
Bedard gives it off for Gergar. Back for Hanley. Moves it to Fury. Fury, left hand. Misses the net. Backed up by Smith.
There's another one. It's only a matter of time. One of these things is going to drop.
You hold your breath when it's the Penn midfield. All the way up top for Gabe Fury, the junior from Villanova, Pennsylvania. Gergar scores!
There it is.
Penn leads.
Eventually, we knew one of these was going to drop. Gergar does a great job popping behind the ball. That's Fury there going, drawing that slide off the crease. But Gergar pops behind Fury and fills that gap, catches it loaded so they can get the ball in and out of his stick before that hedge can get back to him. That's just great offense. We knew that eventually one of those was really going to drop for them.
The 48th of the season for the senior from Annapolis. Mike Murphy said he is an emotional and a physical leader for us. He's also one of the funniest kids I've ever been around, his head coach said. And he's got the go-ahead goal here in the first 6 minutes of the fourth, and Penn's got possession.
And this could be danger territory if you're Richmond and Penn puts another one in here, because they're just going to continue to earn those high percentage scoring opportunities.
We have only had 4 goals since halftime. Hanley. Gergar past the shorty Armistead. He drew Saunders. Pass tipped there by McClure.
Seen this a lot today from both teams, but they're drawing the slides and then just the ball sticking in their stick for just a little bit too long. Keep it simple. You did your job. You drew the slide. Just get it out of your stick.
And now Hanley with a head of steam. Gergar, tough catch. Shot got blocked on the way in. Hanley got hit, and Richmond spins out of trouble. Ray Barrett got the ground ball. Armistead runs. Richmond unsettled. It's Armistead, denied by Birkinshaw.
Potentially the biggest save of the day right there. Doesn't get much better of a scoring opportunity than that for Richmond.
13th save for Patrick Birkinshaw, but then given away right back to Richmond.
Just a point-blank scoring opportunity there.
Dunn got bumped by Blake, draws a flag. Richmond will go man up. And Hanley went off the field as well. And he's got his helmet off, crouched on the Penn sideline.
Game's kind of coming down to the wire here, and Hanley's wobbling off the field a little bit. We'll keep an eye on him to see if he's going to come back in, but that would be a huge loss for Penn at this point in the game.
Shot clock resets at 80.
Penn penalty. Number 41, Peter Blake. 30 seconds for a push at 7:27.
See Hanley on the Penn sideline.
And right now, this man-up opportunity, to me, over the course of the season, the Richmond program, this is really going to be defined for them. If they can score this, it says a lot about the program and where they're at.
Lynchbury up top. Frankie ties the game. His first of the afternoon, and we're locked at 9.
That's a big-time goal. Man up, Number 9, Lynchbury, using his vision that we know he has, 40 assists on the year now, skipping it through the defense to number 6, Luke Franchini, unloads one from range. That's a big, big time goal, and they're tied up now.
9-9, fourth quarter, 7:17 to go in regulation. Our game summary. The 3-seed Penn at home against Richmond, who has stormed back in this one. They trailed by as many as 3. Birkinshaw with some big saves. Richmond has spread it around, but been led by Dalton Young.
And this is why you play the game. Tied 9-9 going into the 4th. Reigning NCAA tournament. This is what it's all about. Unreal program goal. Man up to convert there for Richmond. Really, to me, showcases that they believe they deserve to be in this game.
Jamie Zusai with a big face-off win for the Quakers, who you saw have Sam Handley back out there, the Ivy League Player of the Year and one of the 5 Tewaaraton finalists in the country. He's got 3 goals on 9 shots in this game, 26 in white.
Notice that they put him back on attack, though, potentially to limit how much he has to move around, but still allow him to make an impact on the game.
Careless turnover. Fury's pass for Jack Schultz, and Richmond right back with it.
Again, by the 4th quarter, with less than 7 minutes to go, you can't blame the rain anymore. You have to know how your pocket is throwing. That's just an unacceptable turnover by Penn.
And now Richmond sets up shop. 6.5 to go. Tied at 9 for a program that has never won an NCAA tournament game.
Talk about a moment to strike.
It's Lance Madonna, high wing against the shorty in Jack Joyce. Young from X with Blake on it. Now Lynchbury feeding. Shot grazes off the crossbar from Cooper Dayton, and it belongs to Penn. What a sequence.
Wow. Great scoring opportunity, and then no backup. You have to be tougher than that. To me, toughness is two-handed ground balls. Getting the shot back up, clean on the perimeter.
That was a huge message from Dan Shermati, the Richmond head coach, to his team after their most recent loss, which was in the regular season on the road against an excellent Jacksonville team. One of the darlings of this season, but he said toughness has to be a hallmark for us. It wasn't that day. It has been since. And Richmond will try to do it at the defensive end here. Penn looking to strike and take the lead. Back for Schultz. Shipley out there. We have rarely seen 37. He's got that right ankle, it looks like, taped up. Gergar is stopped by Vigu. And Vigu the loose ball. Armistead clears up ahead to Ryan Dunn. Inside of 5 to go in the 4th.
Just seems like over the course of this game, Richmond just keeps getting opportunities that if Penn was just converting a little bit more, there would never be a game. You have to strike on one of these if you're Richmond.
Franchini tied the game from long distance. Franchini moves it back to X. Now Madonna. They press out on Franchini. It's D. Jacoby on the 5th-year senior. Back for Lynchbury. And a flag drawn. He feeds Young. And man up coming for Richmond. That stick went up on the helmet of Lynchbury.
I don't know if you call that at this juncture in the game. It's an accident. Just a little bit of a poke check.
Fouls on white, number 20. Slash, 1 minute. Shot clock's at 60.
So 60 seconds here as you look at the slash.
On the pop, just a little bit of a poke check to his hands, and it slid up off his gloves. I think that's a tough call at this point in the game.
Up on the helmet of Lynchbury from Tyler Keel, the freshman pull from Potomac, Maryland. It was Franchini man up for Richmond last time. He's out there with Alpaw, Young, Lynchbury, Madonna and Dunn.
Watch for Lynchbury to pop off, get him the ball, allow him to be the quarterback.
Here he is. Straight on. Feeding. Dunn, who scores! Richmond leads.
Big-time players make big-time plays, and that's exactly what Ryan Lynchbury is. Again, NLL draft pick, 40 points, or 40 goals, 40 assists. I think it's his 42nd assist. The no look after the fake to throw it inside. Your senior leader coming up in the biggest moment in program history, dumping that one inside to number 4, Ryan Dunn, to finish that with his left hand.
And the Richmond faithful loves it off the delivery from Lynchbury, who told us this week he thought about transferring, and other upperclassmen from Richmond did, but he didn't. And it was after the loss in the SoCon title game where he had been thinking about it to that point. He had even had a call with the Richmond coaching staff saying, I don't know if the program I want to pursue academically aligns with what Richmond has. They lost. He said to coach, I'm coming back. He's got the assist to give Richmond the lead with 3:38 to go here in the fourth quarter. This is a Richmond program in its 9th year of existence. They always schedule tough. They take on the big dogs. They've played, coming into the tournament, 6 ranked opponents. And in their 9 years, they've got 9 wins against ranked opponents. We told you about the one this year against Virginia in Richmond. 3 years ago, it was Notre Dame. A year before that, in 2018, it was Carolina. Also the Heels in 2017 and Duke in 2016. So they've had big wins. They've never had a win that today would be, if they can finish it out, long way to go in 3:38 on this stage.
Long way to go, but in my opinion, watching them play these last few minutes, how they're stepping up on the offensive side and converting those last 2 goals, specifically on both man up, that to me says a lot about where they're at as a program. And I think if they can continue with that effort, could sneak out of here with one of the biggest wins we've ever seen in tournament history.
If you're Penn, meanwhile, you need a stop, but you've also only scored 2 goals in the second half. What has to change?
I think Penn just has to lean in on their fundamentals. When they get hands on guys, they're great on defense. Birkinshaw is putting them in a great spot as well as a goaltender. You just have to force Richmond to continue to try to skip the ball.
If it was too early before to sound the upset alert sirens, now is the time. With 3:38 remaining here in the fourth. Jules Henningberg, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you here from Philadelphia.
Biggest possession to date in program history. Let's see if they can earn a high-quality opportunity. Even if they don't score it, I want to see it be a high-level, high-percentage shot.
You could take this down to about 2.5 to go. What's the balance between patience and still urgency in a 1-goal game?
I'm attacking. I know we have a shot clock out that 30 mark.
Yeah, that's when Madonna says go. Feeds it behind for Ryan Dunn with a couple of goals here that have been big for the Spiders.
Keep attacking the short sticks, draw the slides, get the ball to Lynchbury with his hands free.
Shorty Joyce is on Frankeny. Back to Lynchbury, slips a pass. Inside for Madonna. Coming up on 10 to shoot for Richmond. On a feed for Dayton, who sends it wide. Backed up by Richmond with 8 to shoot. It's Dalton Young. Can't get it past Birkinshaw. Off the ricochet. Fresh
Timeout, potential timeout. Oh.
So on the 60-second reset, can get it down closer to 90 seconds remaining.
That is an unbelievable effort by Dalton Young. Everyone's subbing off the field. There's no risk in him taking the ball to the goal. Shoots it, almost scores it on Birkinshaw, but then gobbles up his own rebound and maintains the possession.
He's had big moments in the ride and on loose balls to go along with what he's done with his 3 goals for Richmond. Under 2 to go in the fourth. Frankeny starts it wide with 15 to shoot.
Potentially a short stick screen for him.
Frankeny's still got it with 7 to shoot. Gets it to Madonna. Draws a slide. He's hounded. Madonna goes down, lost the ball. Penn comes up with it with Jack Joyce.
I don't love them waiting for that. You would have liked to see a better opportunity at this point in the game on offense. I know they're waiting to try to absorb some of that clock, but it's a one-goal game, and Penn's going to be able to draw up a great play.
Timeout with 1:16 to go for Mike Murphy and 3-seed Penn in search of an equalizer. Penn went down 2-0 in the first quarter to this Richmond team. Then they ripped off 5 in a row, but since that first quarter, they've only scored 4 goals against the Richmond D.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it's been because of the Richmond defense as much as it's been that Penn's been settling. I think they got comfortable later on in the game. Obviously, Hanley went down there, but look to see them earn a really high-quality opportunity. They had a couple of those late in the third quarter and the early fourth.
One way or another, it's got to involve 26 in white, Sam Hanley.
Absolutely. How they involve him, I know he's a little bit banged up. I don't know if he's going to be able to attack from the high box area again, but I'd love to see him catching the ball after there's been a slide drawn by maybe someone like Gregar, and then get him involved.
Well, in this one, he's got 3 goals. The Ivy League Player of the Year, Penn's first to win that honor since 1991.
And deservingly so. He's one of the most dynamic players in the country. He can sling it from the outside with both hands. He's got range, high IQ, and awareness. But again, he's a little bit banged up right now. Let's see what they want to do and how they want to incorporate him in this last minute of the game.
Ben Smith had a big first half. He's been quiet in the second. Gregar is their top goal scorer over the course of the season. He's got 2 and 1 in this one. Sam Hanley said it was demoralizing sitting back and watching the NCAA tournament last year. He would be watching these games and regular season games from his couch. The Ivy League sat watching all season. They surged back as a conference this year. But now Hanley and the Quakers trail with 1:16 to go here in Philadelphia.
This is what it's all about right here, baby.
Up top for Fury to initiate. The shorty Adams is on him. Now Cam Rubin. Fury with a bounce. Off a split. Adams went down. It's Fury. Hands free and a save. Nigu.
Wow.
Big time stop from Zach Figu on Gabe Fury. 50 seconds to go.
See if they can get the clear, but that would.
Take it away. But Dard wrangled it free. And now 40 seconds remaining for Penn trying to tie it.
What an unbelievable save by Big U. Off of that Fury strong left hand shot.
Smith scores! Tied at 10.
Cardiac Penn.
Off the feed from Sam Hanley.
Smith off the feed from Sam Hanley. That's his 4th goal of the game. Tying or passing a career high. Hanley again, the best player on the field, making a play when team needs it most. That's what it's all about.
And now to the face-off X. Penn has won 16 of 23 with Jamie Zusai. But out the front door, it's the freshman Chinoy. And a timeout before his shot called by Dan Shamani with 24 seconds remaining in the 4th.
It's a big time timeout, especially because Birkinshaw got the save.
You can see the eyes light up for the freshman Jared Chinoy, who has a conversation with the Richmond sideline. And now 24 seconds for the momentous moment for this Richmond program.
Doesn't get any better than this right now. Tied up, under 30 seconds. Richmond has the ball. You have to believe that they're going to get Lynchbury the rock after a slide is drawn and allow him to pick apart the defense. Hopefully, they can execute on that and find a great doorstep shot.
Penn defensively, where do you want to filter the ball to? Like, where are the places we've got to get it away from, and we want it here less dangerous?
You do not want the ball in Lynchbury's stick, so if he's popping off, you need to get someone in his hands as soon as possible and force them into those potential low-angle shots that seem like a high-quality shot, but Birkinshaw's going to be able to eat that up.
How good is this, folks?
Doesn't get any better.
Packed venues, back again. Lacrosse, middle of May, NCAA tournament, day one. It has not disappointed in our second game. Here's where we are, the lower bracket, Penn and Richmond. Tomorrow it's Rutgers and Harvard. The winners of these two will meet on Long Island in the quarterfinals next Saturday. But first things first, 24 seconds at least remaining in this one.
Attack the short stick, draw the slide, have help forward at attack, at X, have help behind, get the ball out of your stick, make a read.
It starts in the stick of Lance Madonna. He has initiated against Penn Shorties over the course of this afternoon.
Watch for Lynchbury to leak off the crease backside.
It's Madonna, still with it. Skips a pass, the shot goes wide, trickles into the corner. With 2 seconds remaining, it's still Richmond ball. Whipped out in front, and we are going to overtime here in Philly. Excellent defensive possession from Penn.
Excellent, and you had to believe that this game was going to go to overtime with Penn.
Richmond at times was maybe too patient, you could argue, and not as aggressive as they needed to be in the fourth quarter on some of their possessions. Penn able to tie it up on the strength of the fourth goal of the day from Ben Smith, and we go to overtime. Well, how did we get to this point? Maybe you've seen it on Twitter. You landed here. Welcome. We forgive you for not being with us throughout. First 2 goals went to Richmond, then 5 in a row in the first for Penn. It was close, a 1-goal game at the half. Richmond took the lead back and forth throughout this second half.
Yeah, I just want to highlight these goaltenders who have done a fantastic job today, robbing the shooters left and right. We saw it there with Vigu on that last one from, I think it was Gergar. And then on the other side, Birkinshaw continuing to showcase his ability to see the ball. Smith, Ben Smith, number 24 in white on Penn. 4 goals today, a career high as a freshman, really stepping up to the plate.
And we throw 4 on the clock. Next goal will win it here. It's a Penn team that has been in overtime, and that's Ryan Lynchbury, who you saw was getting stretched out and still is on the Richmond sideline.
It's another overtime game for Penn. They've gone 2-2 on the year though so far. Let's see. I know Hanley's, again, he's a little bit banged up, but you got to believe in the biggest moment of your career that he's going to find the gumption to come out and make a big-time play.
Dan Shamati got hired in the fall of 2012 for an inaugural season that would eventually come in 2014. Sam Hanley, one of the best players in the country, took a big hit in this second half on a scramble in front of the net. We are in overtime in Philly. Chinoy and Zusai. And Zusai picks it up. And a timeout called as he fed Ben Smith. And Mike Murphy steps in 7 seconds into OT.
Now, I know there might be some people out there that have their own opinion about this, but at the PLL level, you cannot call a timeout in overtime. To me, it makes it a little bit more fair. The timeout right after you get the possession, now it allows Penn to set up a play, get comfortable, and let's see what they do. Again, Hanley's banged up. You know, they might have Fury run out of the box again at a short stick, get him the ball after a slide's been drawn.
Penn draws things up here in rainy Philadelphia. Dunning-Cohen Champions Field at Penn Park. We are not at Franklin Field, where commencement is. And Penn on home turf nonetheless, trying to win it here in overtime in advance. Smith, the freshman, with 5 points. Handley, the hat trick on 9 shots.
Freshman stepping up in the biggest moment of his career. It's got to feel good. Let's see if they can complete the job.
Dave Fury and Sam Handley, part of this loaded midfield for the 3 seed, the Ivy League tournament champions, the Quakers. They've got Fury, Rubin, Bedard, Handley, Gergar, and Smith.
They're going to give it to Handley and let him go to work.
Here he is, Ivy League Player of the Year, Sam Handley. He skips it. It's Fury. And Penn moves on. It's Ben Smith.
Wow.
The freshman has arrived.
And Handley, I said it earlier in the show, for my money, is one of the best rising stars I've seen in a long time. Attacks his matchup one-on-one, draws a slide, snaps the ball backside, and allows his team to do their job after that. Wow.
He just waved by to the Richmond fans, and he sends with his feet into the second round.
Cardiac Penn. Unbelievable. Credit to Richmond, though. Credit to Richmond for bringing the game down to the wire like that. Converting when they needed to in this game to get it as far as they did. But big-time players, I said it before, make big-time plays, and Sam Handley is a big-time player.
A 5th one-goal win for Penn and a 3rd overtime win this season.
Again, he draws the slide, he snaps it backside to number 9, Gabe Fury, who finds it inside to number 24, Ben Smith, for his 5th goal of the day, a career high as a freshman, stepping up in the biggest game of Penn's program history, potentially, and he did it on the biggest stage with 5 goals, and then he does the dive. That's the Ryder Guardsy right there. We love it.
We
love it.
South Bend Ryder smiles. What a selling freshman.
It doesn't get any better than this.
I mean, have yourself a day, Ben Smith. A team that is banged up. Didn't see much of James Shipley. Tynan Walsh, they're not going to have him for as long as this season goes. Brendan Lavelle, for non-injury reasons, out from the defense for a 4th straight game. Got everything they could handle from this Richmond program, which poured everything into this moment. And a 5th-year senior in Ryan Lynchbury, who decided to come back, and a Richmond team that battled and went to overtime to a place they had never gone before in their program history. Our Capital One player of the game, who else could it be but Ben Smith? 5-1 for the freshman from Lutherville, Maryland.
And it started right away in the game, them short-sticking him. Richmond tried to double pull Penn's midfield with Fury and Handley. And Smith just stepped up, rose to the occasion, and put Penn in the position to come away with a victory with that shot on the crease.
It was Handley to Fury to Smith. Onto the quarters. Well, that was the first thriller of what we hope will be many here in the NCAA tournament in the 2nd game of the day after Princeton won earlier. It's another one of the Ivy League teams. In the year of the Ivy, it's Penn in overtime over Richmond.
It literally gets no better than that. Cardiac Penn. That's their 5th overtime game of the year. No one better than to have the ball in a stick in the biggest moment of Penn's program, potentially getting them to the second round. Sam Hanley doing what he does best. And Ben Smith finishing it.
The Cardiac Quakers do it again, and they are into the quarterfinals. They will await and be watching tomorrow when Rutgers and Harvard square off in Piscataway. Well, Ben Smith is kind enough to join us. And Ben, I got to imagine when you grew up in Lutherville, Maryland, you dreamt of moments like this. How does it feel?
It's a dream, honestly. I mean, it's first round. We got one game at a time, week by week, but that was a good start. And rainy day, it was bad stick work all around the field, but we got it done, and that's all that matters. On to next week.
You had 5 goals, but we would love it if you could break down the last 2 that you had, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said earlier, it was really sloppy today. Bad stick work, the rainy weather really affected everything, so our sticks were kind of messed up today. They weren't really dialed in, but at the end, Sammy found me right on the crease, really good look, and I buried it low to low. And then on the last one, Gabe Fury, who's been battling all day, played really well the past couple of games, he found me on the crease, and I buried that one as well.
And Ben, Jules Henningberg here. What was your mindset in the beginning of the game when you recognized that they were trying to short stick you?
Just do my job. That's what they've been saying all year. I play the pipe down there. Lost my buddy Tynan Walsh last week. That's a huge loss, but just stick to the game plan, play the pipe as well as I can, and get open for my teammates.
Ben, gotta ask, why is it that you guys just seem to thrive and only play like 1-goal games?
I don't know. It's something that we don't really strive for every week, but it keeps happening, and I'm glad that our team fought it out. Our defense stepped up at the end really and played really well, so I'm really proud of them. And on to next week, like I said.
Last thing for you, and then we'll let you run. What's it like playing with Sam Hanley?
Unbelievable. He's great leader, huge guy, even bigger standing next to him. He's everything to our offense, great starter, and we're really proud of him the way he's been playing lately.
Well, Ben, congratulations on a big win. Go enjoy it with your team.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Buddy.
Thank you.
It's got to feel pretty good. Ben Smith, the hero toward the end of regulation and then in overtime as well. Penn is moving on to the quarterfinals. 11-10 is the final. We're not done. We'll come back, wrap it up from Philadelphia. We'll chat with Mike Murphy on the other side. Penn does it again. The Cardiac Quakers in overtime over Richmond to move on to the quarterfinals. And their head coach, Mike Murphy, is kind enough to join us. Coach, very simply, how does this keep happening to your team?
That's a good question, Mike. And if I knew, I guess we'd probably prevent it from happening in the future and win a little more comfortably. But credit to Richmond. They're a hell of a team and did a great job today.
And Coach, Jules here. What was your game plan coming out of the huddle overtime, knowing that you wanted to get Sam Hanley involved, but potentially he was a little bit banged up?
Yeah, really, we didn't know if we'd get the first look, but we did. Him coming off the top center there draws a little bit of attention, then move it over to the wing where we have a short stick, and he gets a little bit more attention, and then just look inside to see if we can have something open. Didn't have it. We were going to get it through X and keep playing on the backside, but fortunately what Coach Abbott drew up in the huddle there worked to perfection.
Game-tying goal and game-winning goal from Ben Smith. What'd you think of his day?
Yeah, he was terrific. He created a goal in the ride there early on, got us going, and he has a somewhat subtle 5 goals. He doesn't dominate the ball, doesn't push too hard when things aren't there. He takes what's given to him and takes full advantage of it.
Coach, just in the grander context of this, and we talked about it with you this week, the league that the year that the Ivy League has had after last season and having to sit and watch moments like this, what does it mean to you and to your conference?
It's terrific. I don't know what happened in the Princeton game, but
they won.
They did. That's great. Well, I guess we're 2-0 right now, so I'm sure a lot of people were suspicious about getting 6 teams in, but hopefully we can keep winning as a conference and maybe meet a couple of those guys later on down the road.
Well, Coach, we'll let you celebrate it with your team. Thanks for the time. Congrats.
Great. Thanks,
Congrats,
Mike.
Coach.
Yeah, thanks, Jules. See you guys.
Mike Murphy and his Penn Quakers victorious, and they are going back to the quarterfinals. That's where they were in 2019, and then unable to participate the last couple of seasons. Everyone got shut down, of course, in 2020. Well documented in 2021. No Ivy League action, and so Penn with that 3 by its side in the quarters.
Yeah, Penn and Princeton earlier beating BU. You got to start to believe that the Ivy League is potentially as legit as advertised. I mean, we will see later Brown, Virginia. If they come out on top of that game, wow, the Ivy League is really something.
Other side, Jules, the unfortunate side, that someone had to lose as we sit here unbiased. And for Richmond, you see the emotion pouring out. And for a program that has been building over these last 9+ seasons, to take it to this moment, while they certainly want to be moving on, man, what a fight.
Yeah, and I've been on that side. I know how that feels. It's one of the worst feelings in sports. It lives with you for a long, long time. But at the end of the day, these guys are going to be able to look back and know they left the program better than they found it and are giving the next Richmond guys the opportunity to come into this game with even more confidence, even more ability to believe that they can win a game like this.
Well, this is what's coming up just moments from now right here on ESPNU. Yale, the 4 seed, hosting St. Joe's.
Yeah, and again, watch out for Matt Brando. I think he got left off potentially there of the Torton 5, but he's at 91 points, 6.1 points a game, and he could really make a run in this tournament for Yale and just not even have a chance to win the Torton.
St. Joe's, they've got the best face-off man in the country by percentage in Zach Cole. Well, that wraps it up from Philadelphia. For Jules Henningberg, our producer, Brett Walensky, our director, Eric Swearingen, and our entire crew, Mike Monaco saying so long from Dunning-Cohen Champions Field at Penn Park. In overtime, Penn over Richmond. Ben Smith, the hero. Let's get you to Connecticut with Kark. Here's Cotter.